Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Unity in Naperville. I know it doesn't look that way, but this happened. You probably got a message too that we should be sheltering in place this morning. And I'm so glad you're taking the time to be with us anyway. And when I say us, I also mean Kim-Char Meredith. We'll be seeing her in just a minute here. But I just wanted to let you know that because we can't go to our building and have the team there together, we are finding a way to communicate with you, Kim-Char and I, from our homes. And this is a new process for us. So I'll just invite you to hold in your consciousness that we are in the flow today and that the ethers are carrying our signals easily to each one of you so that you too can feel like you're part of our community this morning. I'm going to turn it over to Kim-Char to just give you a little bit of instruction in case there's something that you need to address.
Just in case, I'm going to trust that your stream is working well for you at home. But if it happens to stop up or you get a ball spinning, go ahead and simply refresh your page.
You should have a little round circle with an arrow or an arrow that's a round circle up at the very top of your screen to do that. You're probably used to that,
right?
But just in case,
yeah,
that's the refresh symbol. So we'll just trust that that won't be necessary today. And we are blending our two services together as far as format goes during this time of live stream only. And so one of the things we'd like to do for the next 15 minutes is start with a meditation. And so I'm going to invite Parker to share some nice quiet music for us while we just close our eyes. And let's take a deep breath. Just let out a sigh. You're at home. No one else can hear you. I, on the other hand, y'all can hear me, but I don't care. I'm just going to let out another big sigh. This feels good. And we allow our bodies to relax. You might just feel yourself comfy in your chair. Feel that chair supporting you. Taking another easy breath, just allowing your breath to return to its natural rhythm. And allowing ourselves to feel from the inside now. As we take a deep breath, we realize in this moment that the very breath of our life is God breathing us. And we continue to draw our thoughts and our attention to the center of our being, where our heart resides. Now imagining that we are breathing through our heart. And we take a moment to bring to mind someone that we care about. When we think of them, our heart warms. Maybe it's a pet, a beloved cat or dog, a horse. And as you think about your beloved, just allow that feeling of appreciation to warm up inside you. Maybe it's easier to think of a beautiful space in nature where you love to go. Imagine yourself there now, taking a deep breath through your heart and feeling that warm sense of appreciation. And from this highest point of view, just hold the idea, I am one with Spirit. I am one with the love of God. And from this quiet space, we allow ourselves to visualize walking through a woods where a wide grassy path unfolds before our feet. Maybe we're barefoot and just walking on the soft grass, feeling its warmth from sunshine shining on it. Look around you in this forest and see its beauty. Hear the sounds of nature around you as you're walking. Hearing the sounds of water flowing. And as you look off to your side, you see a beautiful waterfall flowing. So you walk over in that direction. And as you get closer, you realize it's not water, it's actually a beautiful flow of golden light. And you know as soon as you see it that this light is the light of God. And you know that if you want to, you can go and stand beneath this beautiful liquid light flow and allow that light of God to pour down through the top of your head into your body as that warm light soothes and calms every cell in your body. Just stand for a moment and imagine that peaceful, healing light of God flowing through you. You feel every cell in your body being rejuvenated, refreshed, and renewed. You feel every nerve in your body calming, soothed, easily communicating with every other nerve in your body. This divine liquid light continues to flow, refreshing and soothing, balancing and strengthening. And we imagine, as we're still part of this beautiful flow of light, that it does not stop with us, but that flow is flowing around the world now. That the very atmosphere we breathe is filled with this beautiful, sparkling, golden light. We know this light is the life of God, now saturating every being on the planet. and we imagine that each person is alive with the life of God, stronger, healthier, more calm and peaceful. We see this light and life of God purifying the atmosphere around us and within every cell, every atom of our bodies around the world. This stream of healing light flows freely. Nothing stands in its way. For we know that in truth there is only one presence and one power in the universe and in our lives. It is the all-loving goodness of God. Let's take a deep breath into that truth. So thankful, so grateful for that presence, perfect and whole, as we begin to become aware again of this room that we're in, the chair that we sit on. And we open our eyes and we'll see this prayer on the screen that we speak at the beginning of every service to remind us. Will you say it with me together, please? There is only one presence and one power in the universe and in my life, the all-loving goodness of God. And so it is. We'll take a breath and let Kim-Char prepare to lead us in some music as we allow that. Well, actually, I think she's going to share something that you may have seen on the internet this week that's kind of gone viral. Its words are just very touching, and it kind of contributes to the vision that we just created. So Kim, I'll let you go ahead and share that with us.
Okay, thank you, Reverend Kitty. And yes, probably a lot of you have seen this going around and read it, and it's absolutely beautiful. A brand new poem written by Richard Hendrick. Yes, there is fear. Yes, there is isolation. Yes, there is panic buying. Yes, there is sickness. Yes, there is even death. But they say that in Wuhan, after so many years of noise, you can hear the birds again. They say that after just a few weeks of quiet, the sky is no longer thick with fumes, but blue and gray and clear. They say that in the streets of Assisi, people are singing to each other across the empty squares, keeping their windows open so that those who are alone may hear the sounds of family around them. They say that a hotel in the west of Ireland is offering free meals and delivery to the housebound. Today, a young woman I know is busy spreading flyers with her numbers through the neighborhood so that the elders may have someone to call on. Today, churches, synagogues, mosques, and temples are preparing to welcome and shelter the homeless, the sick, the weary, all over the world. People are slowing down and reflecting. All over the world, people are looking at their neighbors in a new way. All over the world, people are waking up to a new reality, to how big we really are, to how little control we really have, to what really matters. to love. So we pray, and we remember that, yes, there is fear, but there does not have to be hate. Yes, there is isolation, but there does not have to be loneliness. Yes, there is panic buying, but there does not have to be meanness. Yes, there is sickness, but there does not have to be disease of the soul. Yes, there is even death, but there can always be a rebirth of love. Wake to the choices you make as to how to live now. Today, breathe. Listen. Behind the factory noises of your panic, the birds are singing again. The sky is clearing. Spring is coming. And we are always encompassed by love. Open the windows of your soul, and though you may not be able to touch across the empty square, sing. So you're invited to open the windows of your soul. And yes, sing this morning. You ready? The lyrics will be up on the screen for you. Up and down, spinning around. Seems things are changing almost every day. Up and down, spinning around, but I find balance, I find my way, centered in the peace of God, centered in the peace of God. Let's sing that again. Up and down, spinning around, seems things are changing almost every day. Up and down, spinning around, but I find balance, I find my way, centered in the peace of God, centered in the peace of God. There is clarity, there is wisdom, oh, there is abundant grace, centered in the peace of God, centered in the peace of God. Let's sing the verse again. Up and down, spinning around, seems things are changing almost every day. Up and down, spinning around, but I find balance, I find my way, centered in the peace of God, centered in the peace of God. There is clarity, there is wisdom, oh, there is abundant grace, centered in the peace of God. Yes, we are centered in the peace of God. There is clarity, there is clarity, there is wisdom, oh, there is abundant grace, centered in the peace of God, centered in the peace of God. Here we are, centered in the peace of God. Here we remain, centered in the peace of God.
Just what we needed to hear right now. Such wonderful lyrics that we can be, when life is up and down and spinning around, we can still be centered in the peace of God. You know, this past week has been an opportunity for us to practice that. And I got to say, I didn't really feel that at certain moments, like when we got the governor's announcement this past week that we would be sheltering in place today. I had a childhood moment go through the back of my mind, this childhood story that's, you might recognize this line, "The sky is falling." Well, okay, if you don't know that line, that comes from an old story. I mean, centuries old, and probably from a lot of different countries around the world. So you might know it as the Henny Penny story, or Chicken Little, or even Chicken Licken. But the idea in the story was that an acorn dropped on the head of a chicken, and the chicken interpreted that to mean that the sky was falling. And so I'll just say Chicken Little went screaming off to tell the king. And as he headed in that direction, he actually, would it be a she? A she chicken, I think. So she ran off to tell the king, and every person that, no, not person, every animal that she met, like, let's see, Loosey Goosey and Ducky Lucky, as she ran into them, she would tell them that the sky is falling and that they all needed to go tell the king. So before you knew it, she had this entourage behind her that was in mass hysteria because an acorn dropped on her head. So I think that's just a metaphor for what human beings tend to go through when something troubling, some type of occurrence happens in their life, and they begin to imagine it being something hysterical. And I certainly don't want to compare our situation to an acorn dropping on our head. When we look at our occurrence with the outbreak of the coronavirus, it's a little bit more than an acorn. I mean, we're actually seeing lives being lost around the world. And as we are being asked to stay in our homes, potentially there are businesses being closed and livelihood being lost. So it's not something to consider lightweight, but it's also an opportunity for us to transform this disaster that seems to be catching up with us around the world, transform it into an opportunity to reveal what is within us, centered in the peace of God. There is a peace always there because God is always present. So we're talking about staying centered and continuing to seek ways to reveal that divine potential within us. And we'll be talking about ways to do that over the next few weeks. But today I want us to tap into that internal storm and find ways to handle what we might be feeling right now. I know that this is hard to process when so many changes keep coming at us and we're not really sure what's going to happen next. And when a group of us, like around the planet, feel this sense of uncertainty, it grows. When there's that many people that are being affected by it, it has the potential to turn into hysteria for some of us. And those repercussions will be felt not only outwardly in our life, but also internally. And that's really where I want to focus today. There's this idea, I don't know about you, but I would just say for me, over this last week, as the virus has spread and it's had a greater effect on our lives, that my body, my emotional system is feeling that. It's not sleeping, waking up at 3 a.m. and not being able to go back to sleep. And I remember even one night this last week that I felt like when my eyes were closed in the dark of the night, that even in the darkness of the back of my eyelids felt like it was swirling. And I had a friend tell me that their way of coping right now at 1:30 in the morning was to get up and make a grilled cheese sandwich and watch some Netflix, which you may be able to relate to. It's also reminded me of my time when I served in ministerial school. I was at Unity Village, where our headquarters is. And it was a time for me to work in the Silent Unity department where I was answering people's phone calls for prayer. And we were there 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, not just me. But I remember when I first started in that ministry that as I would receive call after call after call, never ending calls asking for prayer, that I was beginning to absorb their energy. And of course, they were quite anxious or they wouldn't be calling in the first place. And so I would go home and I would feel kind of jittery and my stomach would be a little bit upset. But I realized that this was the energy of all those people that I was touching throughout the day that was starting to affect both my body and my mind. You might be experiencing that too, just feeling a little bit of jitters right now. And just realize that for a human, it's perfectly normal when the entire world is going through something together at the same time. It can be kind of hard to think straight. Our thoughts tend to swirl, and there's a lot of what ifs going on in the back of our mind. What could happen next? Some of us are a little bit more centered, and we're actually thinking, I've got a million ways that I want to help people. How can I do that? But even that is actually contributing to that sense of busyness in our energy. So let me just remind you that unity is a positive path for spiritual living. And that does not mean that we don't experience fear. It doesn't mean that when we do experience fear that we stuff it or pretend like it's not happening to us. Our goal here, especially today, is to notice when we're feeling fear and not let it breed within us. I mean, we tend to ignore it, and then it tends to go underground and it finds another way to express its energy. So, there's an old story in the book of Job from the Old Testament that said that which I feared has come upon me. Our fears stuffed have a way of coming up again somehow and being seen in our life. I think we can probably all relate to what we're afraid of right now. I mean, there's many common concerns that we're all experiencing. One of those is, will I run out of resources? Will I have enough money? If I'm not working right now, my company's not paying me. Will I have the money that I need? Some of us are really feeling the isolation. If you're an extrovert and you get your nourishment, your energy by being with other people, there can be a sense of fear right now for you about, how am I going to handle this being so alone? We also may be, some of us, feeling like, what if the virus comes into my home? What if I'm going to experience that and it takes a turn for the worse and I can't get help? Or what if one of my loved ones gets sick? These are all basic thoughts of survival that we can all relate to right now. But there's a couple especially that I wanted us to look at. And one is how we fear uncertainty in general. And if there were ever a time that we were all feeling uncertain, this would be it, because we're noticing this challenge that we're going through. It's a first time for most of us. And without the experience of where this could go next, it's bringing up scenarios in our mind, uncertain of whether I will have the resources. I mean, what if I run out and then I have to leave my home and then I wind up sick and then I'm in the street and I die in the gutter? I mean, truly, your ego can wind some pretty good stories for you. And just know, first of all, breathe. Let's take a breath right now. And realize that you're not alone in this, that there is no one on the planet that has a corner on certainty right now as we're moving through this, that we will only know pretty much one day at a time how this is going to unfold for us. So just know that uncertainty is part of this, and it's also the need for control that we can't seem to get back in our lives. I don't know about you, but I can't remember the last time that my governor told me something that I had to do that changed my life in the moment. And please let me be clear that I totally support what we are doing in regards to sheltering in place and avoiding contact with one another to help quell this virus. But I also know that there have been moments here where suddenly what I was doing got stopped. I lost control. I was meeting with large groups of people every Sunday, and suddenly I was told I couldn't do that anymore. And so I regathered a small team of folks to meet in our sanctuary to host our services online, and we kind of got around that. But we were also told at some point that we could no longer go into a restaurant and sit down and have a meal together, and many of us at Unity like to do that after a Sunday services, go out and have lunch. So now we're eating alone. And I don't know about you, but I don't have a lot of time to run to the store and get food so that I can cook here at home. I don't even have time to really cook. So I was feeling like that edict, my ego was responding with, hey, that one kind of hurts. Then we got the last direction where we were asked to stay in our homes, to shelter in place. And at that point, we got separated. Our little team got separated, and it was just me in my home. Now it's Kim-Char in her home. But we had very little time to kind of work this out and figure out the technology of it. And so we thanks for your patience, by the way, as we're continuing to figure this out. But little by little, I have felt, you have probably felt, your control dwindling about how you're living your life right now. We all have these stories. Mine are so mild compared to many of you and many of those around us, where as much as we worry about dinner, we've got people who have lost paychecks and lost their businesses right now, or are facing that illness in a big way. So as we lose control, we tend to project into our future, since we don't really know what's going to happen next. What's the next limitation on its way? And I just want us to realize that that is the voice of our ego speaking. It's not something that we feel in our spirit, but it is our human nature that is not handling loss of control well. So take a breath again. Now that I pointed out all the problems, or a few of them anyway, I want to take some time to share with you a few ways to ease that fearful energy within us, because that really needs to be addressed in order for us to rise up and allow our higher self, our spirit of God within us, to express through us. First of all, I wanted to share something from this booklet that is put out by Unity World Headquarters. It's so timely, just came out recently. It's called 30 Days to Fearless Living. So I think if you go to unity.org, it's something that you can still order. Might even be free for one copy. And in this book, there is a quotation from Jim Rosemurgy, who's one of our Unity ministers, that in his story I just thought was so appropriate for today. So let me share that with you on the screen. It says, human beings fear many things, ranging from loud noises to public speaking, to feelings, to failure, to success, to death. I don't know a single human being who has not experienced fear. However, I do know people who have not allowed fear to dominate their lives. So let's just hold that in mind, that we have a choice here. We may feel fear, but it does not have to dominate our life. And the first thing I'm going to ask you to do around this, which you may not like, or your ego won't like, is to willingly let fear enter in. That means feel it. Give it a moment to make itself fully known to you. It means taking some time in the quiet to just get still, get centered, and take a deep breath. And then just let that feeling that's been kind of gnawing at you or nudging you, just let it in. Open the door and let it come in and come up so that you can clearly feel it. Not just know what the fear is or the emotion. Maybe it's anger. Maybe it's helplessness or depression. But there are going to be some negative feelings rolling around through this process. I just ask you to take a moment to let it speak itself in your emotions. You can literally feel it. And what I promise you will happen is that as you give it some space, it will start to subside. The energy of it will no longer be strong, because most of these feelings that are coming up for us are just saying, hey, do you have any idea what's happening around you? You really need to pay attention. That's what those feelings are trying to say. So once you say, oh, I'm feeling angry, I'm feeling hurt, I'm feeling afraid, I'm feeling depressed, it knows, okay, message received, I can relax now. I can kind of ease off on the energy. And it's important to realize that we have the ability not to stuff it, but to say out loud, I hate this. I hate this feeling of being mad or sad. I hate being hurt or afraid. I hate feeling depressed or anxious. It's okay. Let that out too. Might need to say it out loud just to release some of that energy. There is literally no right or wrong feeling. It's just your feeling. And since this experience we're all going through is unprecedented for us right now, there's no model for us. No one can show us what kind of feelings we should be having during this experience. Just have it. Have your feeling, let it out. Because once we suppress it at its first knocking of the door, then what we're doing is putting it on the back burner, and it will just continue to gain strength and energy until it can be heard. Bring it out into the light of day. Feel it with your full awareness on it. And then I promise you that it will start to burn away, kind of like the fog burns away when the sun shines on it. So that's going to help with the fear itself. And let's talk a little bit about how to live without being in control of our lives. And the only thing I can offer here is to just be in the moment. Just take this one moment at a time. When you feel like the sky is falling, just say, wait a minute, is the sky falling right now on me? Am I safe right now? Am I healthy right now? In this moment, do I have care if I need it? In this moment right now, are my needs being supplied? Most of the time, the answer is going to be yes. And those are the moments that you can go, oh, the sky is not falling. And that's the only moment we can make changes. It's the only moment we can know the truth is now. Be conscious of what's happening to you right now in this moment. And realize that even though we can't control what might be coming at us, we can control our response to it. So this is an opportunity for you. If you're going to predict the future, that's what fear is predicting the future from a negative point of view. You also have the option to use your faith instead of your fear. You've got just as much power to predict a future that is based on spiritual good, infinite well-being, God's highest and best. It hasn't happened yet. So at this point, this is just a thought, and you have the opportunity to choose which thought you're going to focus on. That's how we stay in control, is moment by moment, thought by thought, choosing our thoughts that are in alignment with what we know about God. I mean, this really is a choice of perspective about our life. And our three choices are fear, fact, or faith. You know, the fear is truly an illusion. It's a prediction for the future. So that thought hasn't happened yet. Fear, an acronym for fear, is false evidence appearing real. But it's not real right now. It hasn't happened. Is that the way that you want to go through this process? Is from that point of view? Fear that, I'm going to get sick and then I'm going to run out of money. I'm going to die in the gutter. That, I promise you, isn't going to happen. And if you don't feel like you have any support in the world, but you're hearing my voice, know that you have my support. Find me. So just set that aside. That fear is not a useful perspective in this situation, and it's not based on reality. Last week in my message, when I started talking about what was happening, I mentioned how you might get upset because you're going into the store right now and you can't find toilet paper. That hadn't happened to me, but it turns out I waited till like Tuesday to go into the store. And turns out there was no toilet paper. But in between the time that I sent that message out to the universe and got the results in front of my face, someone reached out to me and said, Kitty, if you need toilet paper, I've got some. I'll get it to you. That's the universe. That's how good the universe is. Ask and you shall receive. Can you just come at it from that perspective instead of a fear that says, there's nothing, I have nothing? There's also the perspective of looking at things through the lens of facts, which are good. They're useful. They're much better than fear. But sometimes we have to understand that even though it sounds very solid, like a fact that science has backed up, realize that some of these facts that we're putting so much stock into are temporary, like this sickness, this virus is temporary. It does not have the support of God in it. It does not have the expression of God's power in it. So just realize that if we can accept the facts as they are right now, just realize that what's happening in this moment, we can't go back in time, we can't undo it. So we just start from that premise of, okay, I accept what is. This is the way it is right now in this moment. I can't undo it. And this fact that I'm seeing with my eyes is passing. This virus is passing. This expression of shortage around me is passing. This feeling of confinement is passing. It may be weeks, it may even be months, but it is temporary. This too shall pass. If you're going to look at facts, keep that in mind. But mostly, I want you to look at this through your faith, putting your faith in the truth of God, putting your faith in the life energy of God that is everywhere present. That is forever. That is the true reality. Truth is something that stands on its own, that's not relative to anything else for its power. So know that truth is where our power resides. And the spirit of God's life is always true and present. The spirit of God's love is surrounding us always. Let that be your perspective, that you trust that right now this entire universe is for you. It's working for you. And when you can align yourself with that energy of love and feel that support, you have just raised yourself up a notch in your energy. And now you are much more accessible to spirit. It can communicate with you. It can guide you to the right and perfect action, to the right and perfect ideas when we stay in alignment with the truth of love. Trust that the very air that you're breathing is an example of God's continuous supply. Oxygen is one form of it, but the energy of the universe that we all dwell in and are part of is the expression of God that becomes our supply, our daily bread. Trust that. Put your faith in that truth, that that spiritual substance can become whatever it is that you need. And as you relax into that perspective of faith, you will start to see every need being met. Where fear will see confusion, your faith will see ideas. Where your fear sees obstacles, that vision of faith, your ability to see spirit, will reveal opportunities to you. Where your fear sees lack and limitation, if you can look through the eyes of spirit at this, you will see abundance everywhere. You will call it forth in your life. And where your fear is, laying down problem after problem after problem, your faith will see potential, unlimited possibilities. Fear, fact, or faith, you will create through that power that Jesus talked about. Let it be done to you according to your belief. So the measure that we give out, as Jesus said, is the measure we will receive. Choose faith in this moment and allow it to calm. I know the human habit is to go to fear first, but if you are sitting here today and listening to me, my belief is that you have a desire to change that habit, that you're willing to release this fear and no longer let it dominate you through this experience that we're having. And that as we refocus on truth like love and wisdom and spiritual supply and the very life energy of God, we will move through this process, not experiencing lack and limitation, but revealing all of the divine potential that God has for us in this. I want to share one last reading with you this morning from Jan Richardson. She wrote a poem called Stay, and I just want to read a portion of it to you. It might be up here on your screen. Wait and see what comes to fill the gaping hole in your chest. Wait with your hands open to receive what could never come except to what is empty and hollow. If you will have the courage to be present to your fear, even though it may feel at first as if you are going into the void, realize that as you empty yourself, as you open up to the unknown, you are actually creating a container for spirit to pour itself into until you feel your cup running over with good. That's what spirit has for us in this. Will you just join me in prayer for a moment, please? Loving God, the presence of all good, the presence of all life, the perfection and wholeness of our health and well-being, the infinite supply of every need, the harmonizing power of love in our life. We give thanks that right now and in every moment that we allow, you are working all things together for our good. This is the truth. And now we allow it to be. Thank you, God. Amen. This is a time in our service where we share our tithes and our love offerings. And there are times when we're in our building where you have the opportunity to do that physically as the offering basket goes around. But today we're offering the opportunity to contribute your love offerings through an online system. There will be a donation button on your screen that you can use. Or you can also mail a check if you'd like to. Our address, our mailing address for our donations are on our website, but let me tell you the address in case you have a pen. You might want to grab a pen anyway, because we're going to have a few other things to share that you're going to want to know about. So our mailing address for donations to Unity in Naperville goes to P.O. Box 9733, 9733 in Naperville, and the zip is 60567. We're in Illinois for those of you who are watching from Florida right now. That's the fun part about this, is that we can reach so many more people doing our live stream. So as we prepare to give our offering in some way, we love to bless it, to allow it to express itself in greater ways. So I'm just going to ask you to take a look at this blessing that's on the screen. Some of you may know it by heart by now, but just really, if you've been hearing it over and over for years, pretend like you're hearing it for the first time as we say these words together. Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. And I am grateful. And so it is. Thank you. So we are going to take a moment to let Kim-Char share a little song with us. As you share your offerings, just allow these words. I'm not kidding. I'm pretty sure this is a new one. Kim-Char, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, so are we going to get a new song today?
We are.
All right, honey, let it roll. I have a feeling this is going to be good.
Fear, fact, or faith? We choose faith. In a season of so much uncertainty, afraid to touch. In a season of so much uncertainty, you're the one thing we are sure of. We can count on you. May you count on us to live your heart and share your love. Share your love. We are seeing to the healing, holding the feeling of wholeness, seeing to the healing of our world. In this season of so much uncertainty, you are our rock. There's a reason we can be still and breathe. You are the one thing we are sure of. We can count on you. May you count on us to be your hands, to share your love. Yes, to share your love. As we are seeing into the healing, holding the feeling of wholeness, seeing to the healing of our world. In a season of so much uncertainty, afraid to touch. In this season of so much uncertainty, you're the one thing we are sure of. You can count on us like we count on you. We live your heart and share your love, share your love. Yes, we share your love as we are seeing to the healing, holding the feeling of wholeness, seeing to the healing of our world. Holding the feeling of wholeness, healing our world. Won't you sing that with me? Holding the feeling of wholeness, healing our world. Holding the feeling of wholeness, healing our world. One more time. We are holding the feeling of wholeness, healing our world.
Ooh, that felt good. Perfect. Thank you, Kim-Char. That was awesome.
Thank you.
I'm going to invite her side by side with me if she's not already. See if we can pull this off, right, Parker? We just have a few announcements that we want to share. I'm surprised that we have announcements, but you got to believe this Unity team is something. I mean, we have put together so many ways for you to stay connected, even though we're sheltering in place. If you can have a phone even. And one of the ways that we're using the phone, in case you're not up to too much technology, is with a new prayerful connection with our prayer chaplains. And they will occasionally be offering conference calls where all you need is a phone, and there should be a slide up on your screen that gives you the conference call phone number to dial in and the access code. This will also be in our e-news that's coming out tomorrow, Tuesday, through your email, and it will also be on our website. But this is a way for you to be on a phone with prayer chaplains who will be praying with you. They will be offering some quiet, inspirational reading and giving you a chance to just check in and let us know how you're doing so that you can communicate with others that are all on this path of prayerful connection. So I encourage you to do that. It's coming up. Are you ready? This Wednesday, March 25th. And this first one will be in the evening at 7:15, Wednesday, March 25th. And then the next event that's taking place, for those of you who have been part of Courageous Writers, which is a creative, actually, Kim, why don't you talk about that? You've actually been participating in that, haven't you?
I have been. And for anyone who doesn't know what Courageous Writers is. That's a weird word, isn't it? Courageous. It's a combination. It stands for creative plus courageous, because sometimes it does take courage to step out into your gift and to do what your heart feels called to do. So the Courageous Writers Group allows people who are writing or wanting to write to come together for a couple of hours where we share and encourage one another. And actually, it's really cool. The format is that they take you through writing exercises by giving you a prompt. You get the prompt, whether it's a word or phrase, and you write for 10 minutes. And if at the end of that time you feel like sharing, you can. And I cannot describe to you the feeling of support and love in that room. And I imagine even if it's a virtual room, Kitty, that same support and love is going to be there.
Absolutely. So there's going to be access to a webinar that you can get. What we'll need to do, I think, if you want to let us know ahead of time that you're going to participate, it's this Saturday, March 28th at 10 a.m. And if you could email us ahead of time, then we can get you the link ahead of time to be there for the webinar. And that is Cindy Blank. So her email address on the screen there is Cindy Ann Blank, CINDYANN Blank @gmail.com. But we will also have a link that morning on the screen. Is that right, Kim-Char?
That is correct. They can
Okay,
just
so
go to
on our website,
Naperville.org website, and they'll see it.
Yeah, great. So that's a way for you to try this for the first time. And Kim, would it be okay if they just were kind of afraid to write the first time, but wanted to be part of the process? Could they just be in the room with you?
And you know what?
Okay.
We have people who come and they write, and they don't have, no one has to share. No one is saying you must. So you can just go through the process of writing and expressing yourself, but you don't have to speak it or share it.
Okay, great. Thank you. So another thing that we're going to use that same format, the webinar format, I'm going to try for the first time is my upcoming class on Wayne Dyer's book, Wishes Fulfilled. Yeah. And I've got a special opportunity for you right now. If you want to register in advance, if you make a donation of $50, that will cover the 4 classes as well as a free book. So I know that a lot of you didn't have time to pick up your books before we had to close the building. And we started with 20. So I'm not sure how I will have enough for the entire world, but we'll go as far as we can. So if you make that donation on our website, similar to what you're doing today, and just make sure you're saying it's for the kiddie class or whatever you want to call it, then make sure that you're including your mailing address so that we can mail the book to you in advance. And the class begins either Tuesday night, 7 p.m. on April 7th. We're still in lockdown here in Illinois. April 7th at 7 p.m. Or I will repeat it on Saturdays. So starting on April 11th at 9:30, you can also access it through the webinar feature. So your option is to do an offering of $50 to cover the 4 classes. And then you can see all the weeks there on your screen that it will happen. It's every other Saturday, every other Tuesday, starting on those dates. Put your mailing address in there and we'll mail you the book. Or you can just show up at the class, one class at a time, get your own book, and make an offering online when you're there that day. So we're going to give this a try and see how that works. And again, all this information will come out in the e-news this week. So if you're not on our mailing list, I'll show you how to do that in a minute. And it'll also be on our website. And then last announcement coming up is that we actually want you to be involved in some way in serving others. So if that sounds like something you want to do from your home, we want to get calls connected. And we are starting a new buzz team. I love that name. We're going to give you a buzz. This team will give people a buzz. And along with ringing your telephone, they'll actually be giving you an affirmative buzz with just kind of some uplifting words and checking in to see how you're doing. We just want to make sure that everybody's got what they need right now. And if you need any support, our buzz team will be there to support you.
You know what, Kitty?
Yeah.
I'm going to join the Buzz team if I get a T-shirt that says Buzz Team, because I want that. I want that.
Somehow I think you have the ability to get those T-shirts for all of us. You're so good at that. I love that idea. And, it would be awesome to have Kim making those calls too, because, we all love talking with her. But if you love to talk to people, join our Buzz team. And the way that you can do that up on the screen right now, send an email to admin@unityinnaperville.org, or Sharon's phone number. She's heading up the team. Her phone number is up there on the screen, 630-404-5882. So again, it'll be in your e-news and on our website as well. Let us know if you want to be part of the Buzz team. But let me just show you this slide that kind of covers all of the things that we have available and where to get that. And that's our unityinnaperville.org website. This is where you're going to get plugged in. This is where you're going to see the most recent updates and announcements from us about what's happening. It's going to be a place where you can get some inspirational readings. It's going to be a place where you can be part of our Sunday service like you are today through our live stream. Online classes will be starting there. And if you want to join our email list so you get a weekly e-news from us and maybe special announcements, you can do that right there on our website homepage. You can make a donation from our website. And then you can also link over to our YouTube channel from there, and also to our Facebook page from there, where we're also putting up some great videos to watch. Kim, have you seen any videos going up on our YouTube channel that you think might be of interest?
Yes. There's just too many. We're starting to offer so many. And you know what, Kitty? We did put one up recently. Your prayer and healing service was so beautiful. And Kitty offered this prayer for the essential workers and the health workers. And we added some photos and background music to that. Go and pray for a few minutes with that video.
Yes,
it's on
beautiful.
Our YouTube page.
It's beautiful. Thank you. So I told you might want to have a pen paper handy right now. I just, at the end of this broadcast, we're going to stay here and let you reach out to us if you have questions, concerns, wondering what's happening at Unity, or you want to answer this question: what is helping you to handle the uncertainty right now that you might want to share with us? And if you would text me that information, you should see the text phone number on the screen right now, 630-740-1656. Basically whatever's on your heart, share it with us. But if you can't think of anything that you've got a question about, then just tell us what's helping you to handle the uncertainty right now. And as you text that in, I'm going to ask Kim to go ahead and actually, let's do our closing affirmation first together before you get separated and we go off in a million directions. Let's just realize that as we speak these words next, this closing affirmation is tying us together from heart to heart, from wherever you're watching to my heart and to the planet, really. Just let's know that these words are reaching our planet. Let's say them together. Let me say it first so you know that the screen is up there for you. These circumstances are passing. Only God's good is real and forever. Let's say that together. These circumstances are passing. Only God's good is real and forever. Kim, you want to lead us in one last song?
Indeed. So I imagine you know this song. If you don't, again, the words will be up on screen. Blessed always, for the arms of God surround us. Let our joy be so triumphant that we rest in God and say amen. Blessed always, for the arms of God surround us. Let our joy be so triumphant that we rest in God and say amen. Let our joy be so triumphant that we rest in God and say amen. Amen.
Amen. Thank you so much. I've been getting texts. Once again, if Parker will show that slide up on the screen, I'm taking your texts. And also, are we able to take comments on the screen itself,
We can.
Kim?
We can.
Okay, so there should be a comment box on the live stream screen. You're welcome to type it in there. And Kim will let us know what you're sending in that direction. But let me start with what's on my phone. Good morning, Rev Kitty and Kim. Thanks for your beautiful message and music today. What I've been doing is call on the phone to those who live alone and those who I haven't talked to in a while to bring spirits up. FaceTime my grandkids and be playful. Take a walk alone and meditate on the truth of who we are. Also, I've been cooking a lot. Ha ha ha. Thank you for what you both do. That's from Cindy. Cindy Spees.
I knew it wasn't my Cindy.
No. Rhonda says that every situation is a blessing. So I always use mental energy making lists of what good is here. For instance, how many times have I said I wish the world would stop so I'd catch up on something like work projects, getting my taxes ready, organizing my closet, start working out, returning phone calls, catching up with friends, etc. Amen, sister. Thank you for sharing that.
Thank you.
A question from Susan. Any suggestions for helping the extrovert friends? Calls are some help, but not quite enough, I feel. Kim, you're an extrovert. What would you say would help you now?
Repeat the question.
What can we do right now if we're an extrovert? Even though we can talk on the phone, is there any other ways that we can feel that sense of connection with other people and have an outlet? And any ideas?
You know, I just jump on Facebook, so hopefully you have that avenue of connection. Obviously you do if you're watching the live stream now. And I'll tell you what, Kitty, I've actually been thinking about starting to write some heartfelt letters to people I've been wanting to be in contact with now for a while. And does anyone know? If I write letters and put it in my mailbox, are we having postal service to take it?
Oh, yeah.
We are, right?
Yeah.
Someone confirm that for me. But
yes.
I'm thinking, because again, even though the person's not right there, it's an energy thing. And as I move my energy toward them, I feel them with me,
yes.
Even when I'm writing.
And Kim, I thought, can you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
I thought we were talking about the potential for eating lunch together. Have we pursued that?
Oh, yes.
Ah, yeah. You want to talk about that?
In the works. And starting probably around, I'll have to confirm with our tech person, Parker, this week sometime, we're going to start something called Lunch Together Online. And you'll be able to access it by just going to unityinnaperville.org. You'll see the link. And I don't know if it's going to be 2 or 3 times a week where we're going to jump together on a conference call that's going to be so easy. Literally, all you do is click a button to get in. And we'll all be sitting there chatting, munching together, having some fellowship, perhaps sharing some good news and stories that we've heard. I've been collecting some in a folder, some neat graphics and videos I'd love to share. So
awesome.
Hopefully we all can get together for lunch together online.
Great.
This week.
Here's a text. I'm sorry you're not in my phone, so I don't know your name. If you want me to say your name, you should probably include it in your text. Thank you for today's message. It's so affirming and comforting to remember there is enough. Thank you for saying that with us. And my phone is alight with text, so let me get this. Sharon said that one of the ways she's kind of staying centered in this is reading and meditating on Keep a True Lent, which is a book written by one of our founders, Charles Fillmore, written for this Lenten season. Keep a True Lent. You can actually read that for free online at truthunity.net. She says actually talking to people on phone, not just texting or Facebook messaging. And who would have thought that voice energy could calm us so much? Love it.
Yes. Hey, I'm just going to read a comment. Brenda Dwyer is all over the comments here. Thank you, Brenda. She says, Kitty, I choose faith.
I choose faith. Way to go, Brenda.
She declares it right here. And she also says, for our tech manning the board, Parker, you rock. Thank you. I'll pass that on to Parker.
Parker, or maybe Kim, you can answer this question. Is the music available on YouTube? Would be lovely to, your music, would be lovely to listen to Kim-Char's and Highest Good music and our familiar songs on a regular basis during this time.
Yes, indeed. So you can find some, you can type in Kim-Char Meredith, that's Kim-Char, last name Meredith, Meredith, and you'll be able to find some songs there. I've got some solo album stuff, but I don't think if you type Highest Good, it'll show up, but you'll see the Highest Good Spirit Rise album there, and you'll be able to listen to a lot of the songs that we sing on Sundays. That should be on YouTube.
Great. Thank you. Steve said he's feeling grateful for this connection. Thank you, Rev Kitty, Kim-Char, and Parker. You are welcome. Thanks for making the time for us today, Steve. We love having your energy with us. Sorry about that. I just realized that what I thought was a text from Cindy Spees was actually from Eva. Can you go back in your memory? Sorry about that. I'm new at this, Eva. Sorry. Do you have another one, Kim?
No, just another thank you from Karen Hernandez, who is with us online. She's just sending a shout out to you, Reverend Kitty, and
thank you.
Parker. Oh, and me too. She says, you all are a blessing to me. And you, Karen, are a blessing to us. Thank you
Amen,
so much.
Sister. Yes. This came from Melinda. We had a family FaceTime call last night. It started just with my granddaughters, and we started again and added my other son and his wife. And then my nephew in Wisconsin called. So we had four. Such love and connection. Yeah, that is a great way to do it. There's so many coming in, I can't actually get to them.
In the old parlance, they would say that you're flooding the switchboard, people.
That's right. Exactly. I've even got the little headphone. Okay, Kathy. How about a 3 or 4-way Skype session? Oh, she's talking about for those extroverts that want to connect. How about a 3 or 4-way Skype session with several of your friends? You can have a mug of tea or break out a bottle of wine. Oh, there you go. And chat. I'm an introvert, but I did this with my family and I loved it. That's great.
Can I say something, Kitty?
Yeah.
Once everything is up online this week, they can go to unityinnaperville.org, click on the Unity Community Connect button, and they will go to a page where they can, like that, start a video chat with 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 or more of their friends and family, like that. We wanted to create a system where it was very easy for people to connect with one another, and that will be up sometime this week, right on our website.
Okay, now what if we all run into each other? Will there be
No.
We won't? Okay.
No, you could be on different boards and have 20 different chats going. So
how wonderful. Somebody said the forest preserves are open and outdoor walks allowed by the rules. Hard not to feel God in the woods. Amen to that. Nicole said, I'm an extreme extrovert and I'm single. Oh, okay. We're putting out the message. We'll see if we can connect you, Nicole. I decided to reinvent my idea of what connection looks like. I've been having deep, connected conversations on the phone, and I've never felt so connected. It was a shift in mindset for me. There's also Zoom and or FaceTime to connect with loved ones. There's also a fun app called Marco Polo that will allow you to send fun videos like text messages to others who are on that app. Thanks, Nicole.
Excellent. I see a couple other comments here, Kitty. I have to put on my glasses, and I know they reflect, and I have to lean over to the computer so I can read it. Let's see. This is from Ardith, who writes, this service has helped me to face uncertainty. So comforting to see Kitty and Kim-Char. Felt like you were sitting across from me in my home. That's nice. Love the message of hope. And the music and poetry, and extra special thanks to Parker for your amazing job. So cool.
Yes.
Thank you,
God bless
Artie.
you. Thank
Kitty,
you.
May I read another one?
Please.
Let's see. Mary Powers writes, Jagobo, that is their Joel Goldsmith book club, is happening Thursday. The book study group is having a Zoom meeting to stay connected. Zoom has extended the 40-minute minimum for free accounts. I did not know that.
Wow. For how long? Do you know? I mean,
Probably,
how, not 40 minutes, but just indefinitely
yeah.
for your
I mean, it
session?
doesn't say it's
Wow.
going to cut off an
Awesome.
hour. That is very cool.
Yeah. I hope they got the bandwidth for that. That is too fun.
Wow. Okay.
A
Thank you,
message from
Meredith.
Lynn. Being in direct care at the hospital, my coworkers are warriors. Amen to that. I'm home with cold symptoms, hoping to go back this week. I want to help. Remember to see the soul in others. Remember the power of love. Thank
Yes.
you, Lynn. Tony says, this is not the same seeing you on TV, but it helps. Thank you.
Good.
There's so many things I could say about the fact that I won't tell you where, never mind. I'm just glad to have this space and that I can actually be with you today,
Yeah,
Tony. Thanks for
this is a
joining
good thing.
us. Deb said, just saying hi to everyone and thank you, Kitty, Kim-Char, and Parker. Deb, we're sending you blessings. Thanks for making time to be with us today. And, Susan sent me a picture. Let's see. Introverts need to stay connected too. I've been teaching our friends and family via phone and social media. My dogs are loving having me home, and I'm loving connecting with them. And there's a picture here of her laying on the couch with her dog on top of her. That's how she's watching the live stream today. So she and her puppy
Nice.
are watching Unity in Naperville. Okay, did I get everybody?
I have to say, I too have seen a lot of people with their pets' pictures this week.
Amen
I
to
know
that.
a lot of animals are loving this.
And you know what I'm seeing is a lot of them walking by my house more often than usual. So the pets really are happy to be free in the midst of this containment.
That's right.
Cindy wrote, what's inspiring me is to see our grandkids joy and abandon. They put on plays and hold tea parties. Oh, so fun. We came into this world with that joy of trust and creativity. Amen. Thank you for sharing that, Cindy.
Thank you.
Okay, my messages seem clear. How about you? Got any more comments over there? Oh, one last one coming in.
Yeah, I see something from Nicole. It's just another shout out to Parker, our rock star.
Yeah, thank you,
putting it all
Parker.
together.
Thank you. This is from Gina. It's a great time to learn new things. YouTube has beginner dance lessons. There you go. Just put it on your widescreen TV. We did East Coast Swing. Also want to try to learn keyboard with Simply Piano. New language with Babbel. These are great ideas, Gina. Awesome.
I love that.
Okay, are we ready to wrap up, Kim?
I think so. I just have a question.
Yeah.
I found the prayer service, the healing service rather, so moving. And are we going to do more of that, especially during this time?
Yes, I want to. Just have to figure out the format of it. If it's just me and you have an entire technology world in your home, and you were kind enough to come over and set me up. So it would kind of be limited at best to the two of us doing that. And I'm happy to do it on my own. So let me think it through. And that's something that will come out in our e-news when it's ready, and also show up on our website. So truly, those are the places. Get on our mailing list from our website, unityinnaperville.org, if you're not already on it. Okay, I don't want to leave these folks out. So if you need to sign off, I certainly understand that, but I want us to stay connected as long as possible. Okay, she sent me a picture that her dog is watching, so that's good to know. Blessings to all. What a beautiful service. And Kim, thank you, Kitty, Kim-Char, and Parker. So appreciate the connection and message. We love you, Kim. Cindy. We've got two Kims and Cindys here. Crystal, we have 3 young children, and it's great you are live streaming. I'm so grateful to reconnect with Unity in Naperville. I know when you've got young ones that it's hard to get out to be with peeps on a Sunday morning. So I'm glad too that you're able to take this time and be with us. We do this every week though, whether there's a coronavirus in the air or not. You can check with us online every week at unityinnaperville.org. So with that, my dear ones, I'm going to just release us all just know what a blessing it is. I feel energized just being with you. And if you feel energized being with us, just know this is the kind of thing that you can keep doing. If you've got some extra time this week and however many weeks, because you're home, not working, I just encourage you to continue to find ways to stay connected to the spirit within you and with others through all of this wonderful technology that we have, but at least through the phone. So one more time, unityinnaperville.org is where you start to access all the other things that we have available to you. And I just want to close with the prayer for protection. I don't expect you to know it, but if you do know it, just say this with me together, please. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. And the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is. I love you all. See you next time.